It's been quite the few days for the Stags. The winless run in Sky Bet League One is over and they nearly killed a giant. It's amazing what you can do with a little bit of willpower. When the big day came on Saturday, the Stags did themselves proud with a sterling, committed performance against a very strong Arsenal side, narrowly losing by 2-1. But more importantly, on Tuesday night, it was a 1-0 win against playoff-chasing Reading to end a winless run of 9 Sky Bet League One games and move 6 points clear of the drop zone with a crucial game in hand. Tonight on the Mansfield Matters Podcast, we'll look back at a momentous day on Saturday and take a deep dive into the importance of last night's victorious 3 points. Plus, we'll look ahead to the Her Game 2 dedicated fixture against Barnsley on Saturday at Clough Stadium. We'll have the results to podcast predictions and much more in between. So come and have your say on your team. This is the show for the fans, by the fans. This is the Mansfield Matters Podcast. Hello and happy Wednesday to you all. First and foremost, apologies that we're disrupting your week yet again and not doing the show live on a Thursday night. Sometimes we just have to mix things up, and that is exactly what we're doing tonight. So thank you so much for joining us on this Wednesday evening. All will be restored next week as we go back to the Thursday night slot. Joining me tonight, though, to talk all things Mansfield Town, well, we've got to assemble a crack squad of Stags supporting fans to talk all things Arsenal, to talk all things Reading and everything in between as well. And of course, that huge Her Game 2 dedicated fixture coming up on Saturday as the Stags welcome Barnsley to the Clough Stadium. Well, let's say hello and welcome to our guest then tonight. First and foremost, from Team Mansfield Matters, let's say hello, good evening and welcome to Nick of Mansfield Town Shirts Fame. Evening, Nick.
Hello, Craig. Hello, everyone.
Good to see you as always. Saturday, has it got out of your system yet?
Not really. I couldn't make yesterday, so I do apologise. I have little insight in yesterday, but yeah, it was great. It was amazing, really, wasn't it? You know, everyone, even at work, talking about Mansfield, which doesn't happen very often. So yeah, it was. It'll take a long while to forget that one, I think.
Yeah, it certainly will. And we're joined tonight by not one but 2 members of the Her Game 2 group. First and foremost, let's say hello and welcome to a face that we saw this time last year on the podcast. It's Katie. Evening, Katie.
Evening.
How are you?
I'm okay. Finally got my voice back after Saturday, so that's good.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for coming on and joining us again. Obviously, you know, the Her Game 2 fixture coming up on Saturday. Lots to talk about tonight. But before we delve into all of that, what's the one thing that you'll take away from Saturday's game at home to Arsenal? The one memory that you'll take?
I think the whole thing's just one memory that I'll take because we walked away proud, and that's the most important thing. We may not have won, but we had that pride to be able to walk away with.
Yeah, it was certainly was an afternoon full of pride for all of us. I'm sure we'll delve more into it. Let us know in the comments as well, by the way, what your takeaways from it were on Saturday. But we've got one final member of tonight's panel to introduce to you. Back by popular demand, the demand of me to come back, and the nagging of her, to be fair, because she said after the last show, I need to come on again this season. I need to get my hat-trick ball. And I said, only if you finished your aniseed rock. Emily, have you finished your aniseed rock?
I have, and my chocolate peanuts as well.
Well, in that case, you are more than welcome back. What do you take away from Saturday's game?
Oh, just pride, so much pride, and I think Mansfield Facebook page called it valiant, and I felt like that was a really good descriptor of Saturday. And I don't think I've ever celebrated a goal so much as I did on Saturday, even though I knew we probably weren't going to win underneath it all. I have never celebrated a goal so hard. It was amazing.
Yeah, it certainly was. I think being able to celebrate that with my dad will be a memory that sort of lives long in the memory for me. Certainly, it was one of those moments. And to be fair, we deserved the goal as well. It was a great day. Nick, let's reflect on it before we go into focusing on all things at the league game. Let's finally get it out of our system, because the world was watching on Saturday. Many of the Mansfield Matters crew got to do various bits and bobs. Cam ended up on Sky Sports. I ended up on talkSPORT Breakfast, and I know how Cam got on live TV. I don't know. I ended up on talkSPORT Breakfast, and one of the things that they asked me was, what are the sort of in an ideal world, what could happen today? I said, two things. Let's not get hammered and embarrass ourselves, and if we can, try and score a goal. And that's exactly, Nick, what we ended up doing.
Yeah, they were the two things I said. Just don't, you saw the Exeter and Man City game, and it was at 9-1 or 10-1 or whatever it was. It's like, that's a bit much, isn't it? 10's a bit much. Let's try and keep it under 4. That'd be nice. We were in it all the way through. The main thing was, I thought everybody who watched it, it wasn't a Mansfield fan, because it was on early. A lot of people watched it who would never see Mansfield. And I think a lot of people turned up thinking it was going to be a thumping. And I think they were all amazed at how tight it was. I think there was a couple of standout Arsenal players. Apart from that, we ran most of them ragged, especially defensively. I thought they were quite poor. But you couldn't have asked for anything more from the guys. They gave absolutely everything. Players who were clearly not fit, couldn't play 90 minutes, running around like it was their lives depended on it. And there's a few people around me saying, well, why couldn't we see that in the league? But maybe that was the game that we needed to spur us on a little bit for the rest of the season. You look at the Liverpool game, I think 2012, 2013. We were awful before we played Liverpool. Absolutely awful. All of a sudden, that one game is as if they've got their confidence out of nowhere. And then we went on a run of, did we lose 1 in 20-something games? So if we can do that again. But massively proud. And I think that, you listen to the coverage on BBC, talkSPORT, wherever it was afterwards, they were all saying how surprised I think they were at Mansfield, and how I think we gave a really good account of what lower league clubs are all about. The family, the John Radford and Carolyn, all that getting involved, and the crowd. And yeah, it was a great day all round. Shame we couldn't have drawn, but I think it was as good as it could have been without winning.
Now, Katie, I know that you guys with her game too, obviously work quite a lot with Carolyn as well, and you would have seen all the national media and stuff and all the coverage on Saturday. What do you think it was like for her and the Radfords sort of taking in that moment? Because I imagine as owners of the club, they would have been absolutely bursting at the seams with pride. Everything seemed to go right for them, apart from obviously the full-time result, which was never going to happen anyway.
I think the thing with the Radfords is they are fans before they're owners, and that's one of the most important things, and why they are so good for the club, because the fans always come first and they get involved. I mean, you've seen it this season where they've been to away games and they've sat with the fans, and I think that in itself makes it special. And I think just being able to have that experience as the owners, as well as like John Radford's been a Mansfield fan for his whole life. So it's an experience in itself as a fan, but as an owner, I can't even begin to imagine how it must have been feeling.
It's quite funny as well, Katie, because I've been looking at a lot of the social media stuff post game, and every podcast, every independent analysis show or whatever, they've only got positive things to say about Mansfield, apart from the pitch. But I just think that's just them, the lack of understanding of League One football.
The pitch is, to be fair, we went yesterday and looking at the videos of the game on Saturday and then seeing the pitch yesterday, I couldn't quite marry them together. It weren't making sense to me because the pitch didn't look that bad from the stands. But I don't know, I was watching it from the stands, so for me the pitch didn't look that bad, but on the videos it did look questionable. But that worked in our advantage because Arsenal are used to playing on a pristine pitch. So that was something that might not have been helpful for them, but worked in our favour.
Yeah, certainly did. I think it took a few people by surprise, Emily. The fact that we came out, we threw ourselves in front of everything first and foremost, didn't we? And I think that's probably the most pride I get out of it is the fact that we just didn't crumble. We weren't the weakling. We were very much in the game, and I think all of the Arsenal players would have come off afterwards, as did Mikel Arteta in his press, and sort of say, you know what, we knew we were in a game there.
Yeah, And I think as well, like, it showed the substitutions that Arteta made as well. You know, towards the sort of last third of the game, he was making substitutions, and I wasn't expecting him to bring Saka and Eze on. I wasn't expecting that, but we got it, and they came on, and it was great, you know, because we had nothing to lose, did we? So it was just amazing. And I think the fact that they brought them on and replaced the 16-year-olds that they'd had on for most of the game, one of whom I wasn't very impressed with, but the other one was really good. And the one that we've all heard about was really good. But yeah, it was really exciting to see like a different team in the stadium as well, where you know all the players.
Well, you say we've all heard about. I mean, I've got no idea who any of them were. So that's, you know,
right, okay.
Someone who doesn't watch football outside Mansfield, I had no clue who any of them were, and those around me took great delight in sort of saying that as well. But you know, I just enjoyed it for what it was.
My son's really into his Premier League football, and I'm really into my England football, so I do know a lot of them. But yeah,
I think that's what it's all about, though, isn't it, Nick? You know, how both you and I have been reminiscing with our dads over the last, you know, well, ever since the end of the Burnley game and when the draw was made about, you know, the West Ham game back in the late 60s, the Leeds game in the 70s and all of that, and how they had all these stars. And we've not really been able to really see that, especially on home turf. We had a little bit of it at Burnley and maybe a glimpse at Everton, but it was only one or two here or there, whereas Arsenal felt that next level. And I think what it gave us really was that thing in 20, 30 years' time when Mansfield go on another one of these FA Cup runs and draw another big team out of the best team in the country. We're going to be able to go to our kids. I remember when I went to the Arsenal game with your granddad.
Yeah, I think it's 30-something years since we played the top of the country. But the one thing I say about Arsenal, they're the best team in the world at the minute. They're not the best team in England. They're the best team in Europe. They finished top of their Champions League group. That, you know, they're battering everybody they seem to face. And I did see that we were the only team to have had I know XG means nothing to a lot of people, and fine, I know Craig, you hate it. I get it. But we registered the highest level of that particular stat since 2022 against Arsenal. That's some stat, isn't it? That they've played a lot of games. They've played Real Madrid in that time. They played, you know, but they obviously haven't played Mansfield, have they? That's the thing. But yeah, it's one to talk about, you know, forever, isn't it? Playing the best team in England, best team in Europe, the amount of England internationals, like Emily said. The fact that he had to bring Saka on, I think, was the biggest compliment to Mansfield, because there is no way he wanted to bring Saka on. Like, he's one of their best attacking players, and his fitness is worse than most Mansfield players. He could grace the one core with his fitness. And he makes Luke Bolton look fit, and he brought him on. He had to bring him on, and I feel like it wasn't if he's bringing him on thinking, "Oh, just see the game out." I think he felt like he had to bring those on, or they would have lost. Because at that point, the momentum was all with us, and for them to bring on, I know Saka's free from their youth team, but you're talking about Eze and Madaway and all those sort of players who they had on at the end. That's I'm not saying it was £1 billion team. I bet it wasn't far off by the time you add up even Calafiori, I think, was 47 million, the centre half. Hinchape, the guy they brought on, he was 40 odd million, and one of their players has played more than we've ever played for a player. And they shouldn't have competed. Those two, we should not have been able to compete the way we did. And it just shows how much effort and desire, trumps ability sometimes.
I do wonder how much the defender that Will Evans got past was worth, because his value is either increased or decreased depending on your viewpoint on Will Evans. So
20 odd million, I think. 20. I'm sure 20 something million. Yeah.
I have to say on Will Evans though, Katie, he gets a lot of stick sometimes, but I thought again on Saturday and even last night as well, he raised his game and he really performed to the Will Evans we know and some of us love.
I do like Will Evans as a player. I just think if he has too much time to think, he gets in his own head. And I think that's where maybe his problems are. He wants to perform to the best of his ability, but he sometimes tries to prove himself, and I don't think he's got anything to prove.
Yeah, I think he does that a lot, and I think he's that sort of confidence player, isn't he? That every now and again just needs that little bit of a boost. He needs that little bit of a lift. And I the first thing I said to my dad afterwards, Katie, was that goal against Arsenal will elevate his game for the next 2 or 3. And you watch how he comes out on Tuesday night. And even if he doesn't score Tuesday, you'll just see that hunger, that desire in him again.
Yeah, because he knows he can do it, and being able to score against a team like Arsenal, that's going to build anybody's confidence. So it's what we need really in our players to have that confidence, because confidence, especially in League One, if you've not got the confidence, it's an issue, because we need that confidence to get the wins and to get the goals.
Yeah, we certainly do. Keep your comments coming in. Have your say on your team. Were you trying to find some more rock then, Emily? Were you?
I don't know what's going on. My internet is really bad.
Internet usually waits till the podcast happens. I've had days where I've been at work
that's true.
home all day, nothing problems, and then crazy little face pops up and the internet goes, no, not having it.
Yeah, I've got no issues with work all day.
Yeah, exactly.
As
soon as he pops up, that's it now.
Yeah. Just don't put 2 and 2 together and make 4 there, because that's just absolutely wrong. But there you go. Keep your comments coming in. Have your say on your team. Let's go through a few of them, and then we'll turn our attention to last night. Simon kicked us off tonight and said, given our recent run, our heroics on Saturday and the league table, was last night our most important 3 points of the season? We'll come back to that question in just a minute. Danny says, even Arsenal fans said how well we did. I've also watched some videos with Arsenal fans and different podcasts all saying how hard we played to try and win. On that, Nick, I do have to say, I've watched a few. I saw a YouTube short from Arsenal Fan TV, and there was one particular Arsenal fan who was a little bit rattled by something that somebody said on the radio. And I've got no idea, Nick, who that could have been.
I wasn't aware there was other podcasts out there, Craig, to be honest. So I don't know what you're referring to. Other podcasts. I don't know what. I didn't know there was any others. Yeah, well, the Premier League fans get easily rattled, don't they? I mean, to be fair, all the ones I ever saw or spoke to on the day or have seen on the television box have been okay. You obviously get the odd numpties, but I'd like to think we've probably got our fair share of keyboard numpties. You know, Cam was having some sort of social media argument with one guy about something.
That's
just
Cam. I don't
unfortunately care enough about anyone's opinion to have an argument with them. But I think if you asked most Arsenal fans, I think there'd have been one surprised and probably 2 pleasantly surprised that it, in a positive way, that someone's actually tried to attack them. Because I think it made me laugh. They scored and they didn't really celebrate their fans. It was a bit like, oh, yeah, we scored one now. See how many we get. And I think then they realised they were in a game after that. Because I think they thought they scored one, come out to the second half, bit like Sheffield United thought, bit like Burnley thought. We'll come out the second half. They'll have a bit of a go. We'll kill them off and then we'll score 2, 3, 4. And in the end, in all 3 occasions, it's been the other way around. But yeah, I didn't know there was any podcast, Craig, so I can't really answer that.
Well, there you go. Katie, I think one thing which did stand out from me on the day was obviously, not just the footballing side of things. We knew that there was going to be a few first-time fans, maybe only-time fans, but what impressed me was whenever I saw some of them, they were investing in the club, and we were talking about, how to try and make the most profit out of it. We've had discussions on the podcast over the last few weeks or so about whether or not it was right to charge for the hospitality tent, whether the price point was right, all of that sort of stuff. But I had 2 American supporters, actually, who were sat in the spare seats next to me, and they'd brought replica shirts, one apiece. They'd had names and numbers on the back of the shirts, so they'd them badged up. They'd been in Mansfield since Wednesday. They'd been sort of staying over. I think they were staying in the travel lodge. They'd had meals at the ground in Sandy's. They'd been to the club shop. I think from those 2 alone, we've probably got a good maybe £500 worth of revenue, and you multiply that over the numbers that came. I think we had over 9,000 on Saturday, and it was probably worth in the region of 1.5 to 2 million extra revenue for us, wasn't it? It's that which puts a smile on your face more than anything.
It's not just the club that would be getting something from it either. The community, like a lot of schools in Mansfield did wear yellow for Stags on the Friday. So that in itself brings the community together. So although Stags got majority of the revenue, the community did as well. Like the hotels that wouldn't normally get the people coming over and staying in the hotels, the restaurants that people would be staying in, eating in while they're over here. So yes, the club got a lot. They also got the TV stuff, and the gate was a lot bigger, and all of that side of things. It was great for the community as well as the club.
Yeah, it certainly was. And I think just on that, Emily, as well, it was just so good to see how everybody came together. It was a great atmosphere. It was busy. You know, even the Arsenal fans who came down, and this is the one positive, I think, from playing at our place, it meant that the Arsenal fans who came were genuine Arsenal fans because they had to have X number of points and have been to X number of games to actually have qualified for a ticket. And I saw no end of them, you know, getting there early, queuing up to have a look in our club shop and various things like that. And that's what makes a difference, isn't it? And I think that just made the day extra special for me. There was no bitterness. There was no arguments. There didn't seem to be any trouble. It was just a genuine good experience for all concerned.
Yeah. We went for a coffee in the morning, sort of had a late breakfast, and there were Arsenal fans in the Costa, and there was loads of banter in there. It was really good fun. We were just chatting away to each other. My son said I was really embarrassing because I told an Arsenal fan that he was really brave coming in here, but I was joking, you know. It was a joke. But yeah, it was really, really nice to see them, and because of where Costa's situated, they were coming past the window as well because they were coming from the from local transport and coming down. So it was really nice to see them all, you know, and to see so many of them and to see that away end full as well. You know, it was great. We had strangers sitting next to us as well who I've never seen before. So it was great.
Perfect. Keep your comments coming in. Have your say on your team, just like Simon and Ryan have. Ryan says, unbelievable day and performance. Here's to hoping the money earned is invested in the squad in the summer. I dare say it will be invested in some other areas as well. Marie says, not every day you see Aaron Lewis going shoulder to shoulder with Saka. And Simon says, Jesus on a reported 265k a week made to look very average. Well, for a man who can turn water into wine, I don't think we should complain about that. And that's the rubbish.
You should be crucified for that. You should be crucified.
With a name like Priest, it's never going to happen. Right, let's turn our attention to all things at Reading, shall we? Nick, last night we had to get 3 points on the board because for all the fanfare that surrounded the Arsenal game and everything, you know, we couldn't hide the fact, couldn't we, last week on the podcast when we were talking, that it was the league that mattered the most, and we had to end that horrible run of 9 League One games without a win. And it felt at times last night, I know you didn't go, but it felt at times like we weren't going to get there. But ultimately, in the end, we did, and that's all that matters.
Yeah, I think it was when you hear interviews and you see managers go, "Oh no, the next game's more important," and most of the time it's twaddle. But I think in this case, Nigel believes it himself, and he was absolutely right. It was massive, wasn't it, last night? Unfortunately, I was in a bus with far too many drunk people on the way back from some horse racing thing. But every time I looked at it, it seemed like we were on top, and I've spoke to people since and watched the highlights and stuff, and we were just riding the crest of Arsenal is what it seemed like. You know, we started well, and I know Reading had the odd few chances here and there on the break, but by the looks of it, we dominated most of the game. A lot of the players who played well on Saturday played well again, but you only have to look at the Liverpool example. We were rubbish before, like we said, and then afterwards, that confidence was massive. It took us through the rest of the season. And I think we're lucky we're in that weird position where a couple of defeats and we could have been in the bottom 4, and a couple of wins and you're kind of safe. It's such a weird, we were right on the precipice at the end of these horrific 9 games. And at this stage of the season, with all the cancellations we've had, those 9 games have come quick, haven't they? It doesn't feel like we haven't won in forever. But when you look back, it's only a few weeks. If you're playing twice a week, it doesn't take long to rack up 6, 7, 8, 9 games without winning. But yeah, it was absolutely huge. And I heard Clough say we're on 44 points or whatever on where I feel we're in a lot better place than we were last year because we just couldn't stop the rot. And I think this Arsenal game stopping the rot right at the point where it could have got scary. You know, if we'd have lost last night, another team, I know it was a game in hand, but other teams could easily beat us. You look at Northampton coming up, games like that are massive. If we lose them, we'd have been right back at the bottom, whereas now we've got a bit of breathing space, hopefully play with a bit more freedom and confidence on Saturday. Keeler-Dunn's not there, so we don't have to worry about him anymore, do we? So yeah, I think it'll give us confidence for the next few weeks, but we did have to win. You're absolutely right. That's why I said we were going to lose, because I knew we'd win. So
I think I think for me, Katie, it was probably one of the toughest games we could have had last night. Not just for, you know, it being on the back of the Arsenal game and the fact that we put so much into that in terms of effort, endeavour, you know, throwing ourselves in front of absolutely everything that you could see the tiredness at the end. But also the conditions last night were not conducive to playing football whatsoever. The wind had a massive, massive impact. And it was just one of those games where you knew that one goal would win it.
Yeah, it's same as what I think it was Abbott said in his post-match interview. The wind going in your way can help. If it's going the opposite way, it can be quite dangerous. And I mean, at one point, Roberts had to move the ball back onto the line because the wind had took it away. So yeah, it was definitely, we had a bit of stormy weather, we'll say, coming our way, but we fought against it and we got the win.
Sometimes, Emily, you've got to weather that storm, haven't you? And I think Mansfield have definitely been in the eye of one for quite a few weeks. And I expected last night to go one or two ways. I thought we were either going to crumble and sort of, absolutely falter with everything that's happened, or we were going to raise our game. And fortunately, we raised it to a standard I didn't quite expect, to be fair. I thought we played relatively well in spells. I know a few people frustrated, but I thought we had some really good situations again.
I felt like we really tested their goalkeeper. I really do. He had to pull out some really good saves to stop it from being 2 or 3-0. I think there was a comment somewhere complaining about Will Evans and Reed's had to score because where are our strikers? And it's like, well, hang on a minute. The strikers did test the goalkeeper last night. They just didn't go in, whereas Reedy's did go in. And I think, I think on the whole, it was quite a confident game, and that they were playing with the confidence, and Reading were just really poor. They didn't show up, did they?
I couldn't see how they're a side that are just outside the playoffs, Emily.
They look like.
Yeah, I couldn't believe that whatsoever. I thought they were quite poor, but it's just one of those things. I think, like Nick said earlier, Katie, it's hopefully that will give us that little bit of a thing now. And Nick is I'm going to call him Mr. Sequence as well as Mr. Mansfield Town Shirts, because the one thing he says over and over again is that Mansfield are a sequency team, and he's not wrong. And hopefully now we can go on more of a positive sequence, because as much as that win last night has alleviated some fear and maybe some doubt, I don't think we're quite out of it yet because of the tightness of League One.
No, I agree. I'm just hoping that the confidence continues. But it's one of those where it's football. You never know what's going to happen on the day. Somebody could wake up on the wrong side of the bed, and that could be all that they need. And people will blame one player, but we are a team. And it's not just the one player on the pitch that makes the whole difference. If the team can't work together, they can't work together. But hopefully, fingers crossed, we're back on that run that we had over the Christmas period, and we've dropped, and now we're just going to keep going up and going towards where we need to be.
I think probably for me, Emily, maybe 6 points more, potentially 7 would do it. I like to just look at the league tables. I was talking to someone about this at work early today, and sort of saying, where are you comfortable in terms of the points gap? And for me, I think it's 6 points is comfortable, because that's 2 games that someone's got. That's a 2-game swing. But I think 7 points is the sweet spot, because you think that's 2 wins and a draw, but also goal difference will come into play as well. And I think that 7-point buffer is where we want to be. And if we can, maybe get 3 points on Saturday and, stretch that to 6-7 points, maybe 9 points, I think we'll then be okay. But we have to maintain it. We can't take our foot off the gas.
Yeah, because we're getting towards the end of the season as well. You start running out of games, don't you? So we need to gather that confidence we had last night and on Saturday, and just keep going. And I know they're going to be tired because there's a lot of games coming up, but it is what it is, isn't it? And if you ask my friend Simon Belcher, who's on this call, I think, he's very good at working out how many points we need. And he was right last season, so I'm hoping he's right this season as well, and that we just need another 2 wins. So that's what I'm hoping.
Nick, we've not got the voice of Mr. Optimistic and Mr. Positive, Mr. Wilson tonight, because he's playing seniors cricket. I think my dad's also there, which is why he's never available on a Wednesday. I know, so am I. I'm always bowled over by his positivity, and that's enough cricket references for one show. But I guess he would say that, we're all right as we are. But I know you like to err on the side of caution a little bit. Where are you happy buffer-wise? Is 6 points a 6-point gap enough, or do you like 7, 8?
I'm batting on your team there. Craig. That's a yellow card, isn't it? Yeah, I knew it. I think, a couple more wins. I mean, what you've got to think of is the teams are at the bottom for a reason, and they don't win very often. So when you do get 3 games where they need to win 3 games, the chances of a lot of them down there winning 3 games are quite slim because they're down there for a reason. They're not averaging a point a game. If there's 8 games left, the chances are they ain't going to get 8, or whatever many games we've got left. But yeah, the other one you look down, there's a few big teams like Leyton Orient. You wouldn't expect them to go down, so if they come out of it, somebody else has got to replace them. But I've not, even though when we hadn't won in 9, I didn't see any other teams that I thought, wow, they're better than us. We're going to struggle today. It's just normally been our own lack of finishing or bad defending, making mistakes, injuries costing us. I've not seen anyone that I've gone, whoa, even Lincoln. I know I was away for that game and I've watched it back. They weren't much cop. So I don't think we've got anyone to fear. And I think other teams, and the good thing you talked about being so tight is they've all got to play each other, haven't they? That's the thing. A lot of them will take points off each other by default. Rotherham drew with somebody in the bottom 4 last week. Northampton have drawn a lot. Port Vale, they've won in the week, didn't they, in the cup? So they've got a chance to maybe get a bit of confidence. But a couple of wins, I think, will be all right. I mean, that'll take us only 4 points off where we finished last season. So we're definitely better off than we were last year. I can see us beating Barnsley. If somebody said now you won't lose between now and the end of the season, it really wouldn't surprise me. It's just how we go, isn't it? It's how we roll, or how Clough rolls anyway.
It is typical Nigel Clough, Katie. That is absolutely for sure. I think one thing which has been hampering us a little bit is the fact that we don't have the squad to sort of go Saturday, Tuesday, and that sort of shows. Sometimes you look at how knackered we were after an hour last night, and you think you need to look to the bench. But one positive, I guess, is that players are starting to get their fitness back. We were talking on the podcast, a couple of weeks ago about how we can't really afford to give a mini pre-season at this stage to the likes of Victor Adebayo, Big Vic, and other players like that, George Abbott as well. But they're starting to come good now, and they're starting to get that fitness back. And George Abbott aside, so we'll wax lyrical about him in a minute. I thought Big Vic last night, he looked hungry again. For a player that's been out for 18 months, you can sort of see that there is a player in there that's bursting to get out.
Yeah, it was in the game, and that I think is the difference between people that are coming back from injury. Sometimes they're there to just get the legs going again, but he wanted to be in the game, and that helps with the confidence and the positivity of the team, because you've seen it. I've seen it in other teams where players have come back from injury and then they've just been there to run around the pitch, really, not really do anything. But that's where we're quite lucky in the sense of Clough won't put them on that pitch until they're ready to fight for their place.
It has frustrated me a little bit, Emily, that we've not been able to play George Abbott as much as maybe Nigel Clough would have wanted. And it seemed from the man himself that, it's Spurs, his parent club, that are restricting the minutes that he can have. Last night and against Arsenal, I thought he was absolutely fantastic. Last night in particular, we really got to see the player that, really made his name and got a good reputation. And hopefully now we can maybe potentially get a full 90 out of him, and we can really start making that position his own, because that's the area we're a little bit weak, and will be one light, of course, on Saturday with John Russell unable to play.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'd forgotten about that. Yeah, because I think Abbott last night in particular is sort of sewing up that gap, isn't he, between the midfield and the forwards. And I just really felt like he really showed that last night. And he did 80 minutes last night, I think, didn't he? It was about 80 minutes. So I was really chuffed with that as well, because clearly Spurs are allowing us a bit more time as we go along. But I'm just hoping that he's not going to just disappear in the summer and then we won't replace him. That we've got to replace that. If he goes back to his parent club, we've got to replace him with really strong players, because that's where we're sort of lacking a little bit at the moment.
Certainly is rule number 1, isn't it? Never fall in love with a lone player. Right, plenty more to come on the Mansfield Matters podcast tonight. After the break, we're going to talk a little bit more about her game too, and of course that dedicated fixture as the Stags welcome Barnsley on Saturday afternoon at One Call Stadium. We'll also have a little chat about what our hopes are individually for that lovely little bit of extra revenue from that game that happened at the weekend. You know, that team that's in the Premier League whose players didn't have a clue who they were. More on that after these. Protect what matters most with Actifire Limited, your trusted local fire safety experts in Nottinghamshire. Proud sponsors of the Mansfield Matters podcast. From fire extinguishers and alarms to emergency lighting, pat testing and risk assessments, they've got everything you need for your business to stay safe. Affordable, reliable, professional. Because when it comes to fire protection, there's no room for compromise. Call Actifire Limited today or visit actifire.co.uk. Be ready, be safe, act now. Actifire Limited, proud sponsors of the Mansfield Matters podcast.
We're the Mansfield Matters crew, making podcasts just for you. Some show up, some disappear, but the Stags bring us all here. Through the ups and downs we stay, talking Mansfield Town every day.
You're back with the show for the fans, by the fans. This is the Mansfield Matters podcast. Thanks so much for joining us on this Wednesday evening. Great to have you with us. Joining me on the show tonight, Nick of Mansfield Town Shirts fame from the Mansfield Matters podcast panel. And we've got two very special guests from the Her Game 2 Mansfield group. We've got Katie and Emily. Emily, of course, was with us a couple of weeks ago, making a hat-trick appearance on the show tonight. And Katie was with us this time last year as well, making her second appearance on All Things Mansfield Matters. And it's over to them now as we talk all things at Her Game 2. Lots coming up over the weekend. Katie, I'm going to come to you first. First and foremost, what does it mean to you as a group, to the club, for putting on these dedicated fixtures and making sure that the movement continues to grow and grow and grow?
It's huge because this charity started out so small. And now there's so many clubs involved. This will be my third year doing the Her Game 2 dedicated fixture game. And each year it just gets bigger and bigger. This year we've managed to get a sponsor for the game as well. So Relate, thank you so much to them for doing that sponsorship for the game. But they've also become one of they've sponsored us for the rest of the season as well. So it's so important because the inclusivity in football needs to be something that people can go to a football game and feel safe.
How important is partnerships like that to you, Emily? The fact that they're coming on board and backing what you guys are trying to do as you continue to take this forward, because it's completely wrong that people would look at it in this way. Because when it first sort of came out and started moving, there was a lot of it's a box ticking thing, it's not to be taken seriously, but it really has gained a strong hold. The community trust get involved with it, the women's team, the ladies team get involved with it as well, and you see more and more girls now coming to watch Mansfield and feeling safe and enjoying the experience for what it is. So from your perspective, how important is partnerships like Relate to help you guys grow?
Well, they're putting in the sort of infrastructure and the ability for us to be able to sort of spread the word, really, because of the things that they've sponsored for this dedicated fixture, and also, as Katie said, for the rest of the season. So they're massively important to us, and we are really grateful. And I think the player advocates are really important as well. So we've got Harry Lewis is coming on board, the new goalkeeper, and we've already got I think it's Elliot Hewitt and Rhys Oates are our player advocates, and they're really important too, because then you can you're almost getting a sort of tick from the club, really, that this is important to them as well. If it's important to them, it should be important to everybody. And I think you still see it online. I was saying to you last time, we can report things, and we must keep doing that, because you do still see it. You still see a lot of discrimination against women, and that includes women fans, people who are turning up to watch these games. I bring my son, and it's really important. I don't want him to see, any discrimination against women. I don't want him to think that way at all as he's growing up in the world. I think it's really important that, he sees women as equal to men, So it's massively important, and it's lovely to see all the girls coming to the games as well. I love that. I think that's really nice. I wish I had a girl, but I don't. So,
Well,
2 boys.
one man who does have a little girl is Nick. So I'm going to bring Nick in now. Obviously, like, your little one, Adelaide, is absolutely lovely. You know, she's had a tour of Alan's PA box and come to a few of the cup games as well. As a parent of a young daughter, how important is it for you to know that there are groups like Her Game 2 out there? So when she gets older, if she wants to go to the games, there's that group there for her to join and, you know, to put your mind at ease as well, having seen how football goes sometimes.
Yeah, I think it's good for anyone to see somebody who's like them doing something that they want to do. I think it's really difficult for us, you know, especially me as a bloke. Apparently, all you see, all the role models, see, they're all men, aren't they? So it's very easy to go, well, you know, every footballer you see, certainly when I was growing up, is a man, and every guy at the football. But it's hard when you're suddenly coming in from, you know, I work in construction as well, so we have the same challenges around women and in construction as well. If you don't see somebody doing it, you're less likely you are to then do it because you're not seeing it. So I think it is right to draw attention to it. But one thing I will say is that the amount of women and girls that go to football matches now, and other sports, you know, I go to cricket as well, massive representation in cricket that I go to, is great, because it should be a representation of the population, shouldn't it? It shouldn't just be blokes going to see Mansfield. It should be a representation of Mansfield, and I think it's really important to highlight that not everyone has the same experience at football. I go to football, yeah, that you might be the odd person who disagrees with some of my awful opinions, but it's not coming from a gender.
Is that what we're talking about? Yeah,
it is. Yeah, but that's never coming from a gender background, so it's very different. It's different, isn't it? But when you, like Emily said as well about hearing, you know, you don't want to hear these things. We've come a long way now. It's you know, it shouldn't be about gender. Yeah, if you've got an opinion you disagree with, that's fine. But when you're bringing things into it that people can't control, it's not right. And it should be a safe environment, shouldn't it, for everyone, whether you're, you know, no matter what your race, gender, age, you know, or you should feel safe at something you like going to. And for me, as with someone with a daughter, it's really important to see other girls and women going, because I think they don't see it. And when Adelaide sees it, she'll question it and go, oh, you know, was there a lady playing? And I'll explain, you know, they're different teams, but Mansfield have got a ladies team, because, you know, they're just to see on the TV. It's generally just men, isn't it? So it is important for little girls and young ladies to see that there's positive influences and role models out there, such as obviously our 2 esteemed guests today.
On that, Katie, what are Mansfield Town as a football club, or how have Mansfield Town as a football club embraced what you guys have been doing over the last 3 years to really try and make a positive change? Because we win all these accolades for being like best family club, you know, best place for away supporters, all of this stuff, but that has to come from within. So what have you seen what they're doing to make you to make what you guys are doing really stand out?
Well, firstly, you've got the well, you guys won't know this, but in the ladies' bathrooms, there's things that ladies need. There's sanitary products, so, and they're there to just take. They're not in a machine or anything like that. There's a basket, and if you need one, you can just take one. If there's none there, you go and ask for some, and they'll get you some. And that is, it's such a small thing in such a big world, but it's not to a woman that is at a football game and might need that product and not realize she's going to need that product. So it's quite a big thing for that woman at that moment. So that's one of the things that's been quite important. And it's like the mascots, more and more female, like little girls are becoming mascots. You've seen there's been ball people that have there's been the odd girl doing it. So there's those little things, and the flag bearers, there's been more girl flag teams flag bearing. A lot more of the younger generation are wanting to go and see the ladies. Like my niece is obsessed, and when I say obsessed, I mean obsessed with Monica. She's a mascot on Saturday, and the first thing she said to me was, "Does that mean I can walk out with Monica?" No, because she's not playing, but she will be there. So it's those little things that, just by bringing the Her Game too, we're also highlighting the ladies team, because they get involved in the dedicated fixtures, and that is a big thing for the ladies team, not just for the men's team and the supporters of the men's team.
what I like, Emily, as well, is the fact that now the community trust are playing a big part in this as well. I have to be very careful what I say on this, because there's been a lot of change over the last few years, and it certainly wasn't like it is now, which is a really good thing to see it now. But, you know, you see the players going out and doing player appearances. The ladies team players go out and get involved in that as well. There's more girls-only, girls-tailored sessions that are happening at the community trust as well. And for that to be embraced and for that to be sort of put in place, I think is really good, because like Nick said and like Katie said there as well, if you see someone like you doing it, it encourages you to come back, and that's how we're going to get more girls feeling comfortable coming to watch games and you know, really grow those programs and grow that belief for everyone that, you know, football is inclusive.
Yeah, it's that positive attitude from everybody, isn't it, really, that just really sort of it just breeds interest in other parts of the club as well. And I know the community trust have been a really important part of the Her Game Too movement as well. But I think Monica is a bit of a hero, isn't she? I think to the girls coming to watch the ladies team, and the ladies team are doing really well as well. They are doing really, really well, so they're worth going to watch. You know, I haven't watched them yet, and I really want to. I need to make sure that I go and see them this season, and I will be taking my family as well, because I think it's something that's really important. It's like, well, why wouldn't I go and watch the ladies team? You know, I support the men's team, so why wouldn't I go and watch them? I think they're doing quite well in the cup again, aren't they? Am I correct with that? Yeah. So
they're in a final. I think it's in a couple of weeks.
Yeah. So they're great to go and watch as well. And I think they, you know, they would welcome more people coming to the games and supporting them as well.
Absolutely. I want to go to the other side of it just for a minute, if I may, and I want to talk about how things have changed. And I'll give an example of one in a minute, but I want to talk about how attitudes have changed and some of the discrimination that you might have faced like over the years. Because I got a good friend of mine who I met through Stags years and years ago. She's absolutely brilliant. I've known her for years and years now, and she used to come with me when I used to do commentary back in the conference days, when there was like nobody listening to me, which was absolutely fine, by the way, because I was rubbish. But that was some of the grounds that we went to then. Press boxes especially were very male-dominated environments, and she was quite often made to feel uncomfortable, which I absolutely hated, because she was brilliant at what she did. She's a really good analyzer of the game, good statistician and everything like that. And I'm not going to mention who it was, but there was a member of Mansfield's staff who made a very derogatory comment towards her at a pre-season friendly game once, which really, really annoyed me. And she just batted it off, but I could tell that it bothered her, because she didn't want to, she was hesitant to then come to more games or come to certain areas. She'd very much stay in a seat or whatever. And that's completely wrong for, you know, a staff member to do that. So I wanted to sort of get your guys' take on what negative experiences you might have had, and now what the Her Game Too movement is doing and what the club are doing to make that a better place for you guys, to make sure instances like that, which shouldn't happen, don't happen. Emily, I'll come to you first.
Well, probably my own experiences have been mostly on social media, I would say, because it's so easy, isn't it, to sit behind a keyboard and insult someone or discriminate against them for whatever reason. And I actually, when I started with Her Game Too, it was Katie I came to after she'd been on your podcast last year and told her about something that I'd experienced. And she was really, really understanding. And that's how I became involved with Her Game Too. So for me, that's been a really positive kind of turnaround, is that now, having had that really bad experience, which was passed off as banter, by the way. Oh, it's just banter. Right, okay. I think a lot of misogynists will pass things off as banter because they realise that they shouldn't really be saying things like that afterwards, especially in this day and age. So for me, it's been a really positive turnaround, that from something negative has come something really positive. And I feel quite sort of bad because, as you know, I don't live in Mansfield. I live in Stockport, so I'm about an hour and a half away. So I can't do the community grassroots things, but there are other things that I can do, and I've found my way through how I can be useful to the team, which has been really nice as well. But I would say that my main issue and my main kind of worry with all of this is that my sons are not exposed to people making comments that are derogatory to women. I think it's really important that my sons see good role models, a bit like what Nick was talking about before, that they see really good role models, both male and female, and that they respect women. It's massively important to me. It's how I was brought up, and I want them to be brought up the same way. And I think with this movement, it really kind of makes you feel more confident about things like that. And I know I keep going on about this, but it's really important. You can report things, and you must report things, even if you think it's something quite small. If it hurts somebody else, or it's derogatory, or it's discriminatory, report it, because they don't know about it. They can't do anything about it if you don't tell them. And this is what I say to my sons, if somebody says something to them at school, well, if you don't tell me, I can't do anything about it. It's really, really important that you report things, because part of the reason is so that they can do something about it. And another reason is so that they can kind of monitor whether things are improving and what things are working, what kind of things that Her Game 2 get involved in, what's working and what's not working. And I think, for me, I think since I became a mum, it's just become even more important to me. It was important before, but it's become more important. And I will say as well, I went to the playoff final at the Cardiff Stadium. I think it was 2004 with my dad. With my dad, and a few derogatory remarks were made to me by Stags fans, and I haven't forgotten that. And that was 22 years ago. So there you go. They were like, it was kind of almost like, why are you here? You're a girl. What are you doing here? So that was quite tough for me, and it put me off for a little while as well, going to games. So it took me a little while to sort of get back into going to games, and I did have a bit of a hiatus from football, and it wasn't just because of that, but it did contribute towards it. So,
Katie, you're nodding away listening to that. What's your thoughts?
See, I've always been quite lucky because the people that I've always gone to football with have always been very inclusive, because I started going to football with my mum and the people that she went with. So I never really had to face any of that in person. There's obviously been the usual on social media and the comments on there, but I've never really had to face it head on, is in the sense of people have said it to my face or anything like that. But it's not just towards the fans. Like, you still find women that will say that the women's game isn't a game of football, and that in itself is disgusting, because why would you bring a woman down as a woman? For me, I like to build women up, and that's another side of it that people don't always necessarily see. But yeah, I've always been very, very lucky in the sense of the people around me have always made me feel very welcome. And that's one good thing about the Stags fans, is there aren't that many in comparison to the amount of fans that we've got. There aren't that many that will make a woman feel not welcome, or like they're not worthy of being a fan, or shouldn't be watching the game. But there are some teams out there that do have that in quite a large, like it's such a big thing in some teams. Obviously we've had some of the players that their partners have had abuse, and that isn't very nice at all. But the team, the club themselves have looked at that. We've found a way to support both the players and their partners. So it's it's one of those where, although I've been very lucky, it don't mean that everybody's lucky, and that's why I got involved with Her Game too. Because yes, one person's experience might be positive, but 4, 5, 6 people in comparison to that one person might not be positive.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you want to find out more about the Her Game 2 Mansfield group, you can do so. The link that you need for their Facebook group is in the description. You can go and chat to any of them anytime, and particularly on Saturday, of course, when it's the Her Game 2 dedicated fixture. Marie in the comments says, I worked in football 22 years ago and the attitude of some was archaic. I worked in football less than 10 years ago, and that attitude was still very much there by some certain people. And it's absolutely disgusting. It's great to see, though, that Her Game 2 is gathering momentum year upon year, and that especially at Mansfield there are more girls than ever going to enjoy games, and it's much more of an inclusive place to be now. Speaking of inclusive, there are lots of things happening on Saturday. Emily, you did tell us last time around, but refresh our memory for what is happening on the day then on Saturday. It's the Her Game 2 dedicated fixture as Barnsley come to One Call Stadium.
I think she's froze.
I think she has froze, yeah.
She's very still. She's either very still or she's froze. She's very, very still. Very impressive.
I think she has froze. Katie, do you want to fill us in on what's happening on Saturday then?
Yeah, so we've got a lot of fun things going on. There's goodie bags available for fans, girls, boys. We're not saying they're just for girls because, again, it's all about the inclusivity. We've managed to, thanks to Relate, get some hand flags. We've got warm-up T-shirts that the club have provided. We've got girl mascots and flag bearers. So although we are about inclusivity, on Saturday it is girl mascots and girl flag bearers, just to make sure that it's known that they can be part of it. We've got a new selfie frame that's now got the Relate logo on as well to help make so people know that they're involved. And we've got raffle tickets, and the prizes we've got are signed shirt and Her Game 2 merchandise, Stags goodies, and home tickets for adults and children. So for one adult, one child, sorry. So even just getting involved in the raffle, there's a chance to win some great prizes.
Yeah, it certainly sounds like it's going to be a great day, Emily. What's your message to anyone that might be out there listening to this, listening to your stories, listening to what's happened over the last, couple of years or whatever? And what's your message to them to come and speak to you guys on Saturday and to come and get involved with everything that you're putting on?
Well, exactly what you just said. Come and get involved. If you want to get involved, we've got, I think I disappeared again then because my internet went off again. I do apologise. And I don't know whether Casey said this, but we've got our selfie frame. So make sure you come and have your photo taken. And also get in touch if you need anything from any of us, any advice or any help with finding your way through reporting something or wanting to try something new. If you've got any ideas for us, just let us know.
Fantastic. So Her Game 2 dedicated fixture on Saturday. Again, as the Stags welcome Barnsley. You can find out more information about everything Her Game 2 and everything involved with Stags by clicking on the link in the description, which will take you straight to the Her Game 2 Facebook group. Right, we're going to move things on, and we're going to recap last night and do some results from a game that I know that everybody loves. No, not what's in Craig's shoe, not what's in Craig's bucket, not Alan, where's you been? Podcast predictions.
The game of the luck, who gives up, don't mess it up. I hear you say, how do you play? Win, lose or draw, then pick a score and one more thing. Pick a hero, don't score zero, that's the game. But we're not fools, this game has rules. It gets on time, you'll be fine. Remember the rhyme. Podcast predictions. Remember the rhyme. Yes, on time, you'll be fine. Remember the rhyme. That's predictions.
Right, so let's bring you right up to speed with the results from last night. Then a match 34. 2 people predicted a 1-0 win and got 22 points apiece. One of which was Shirebrook Stags. The other, much to my frustration, was Clough Parkin. That is because Clough has overtaken me at the top of the podcast predictions league in the Mansfield Matters group. He's now on 330 points. I'm on 322. Jim in third on 257. Elsewhere in the overall table, I'm still in the top 5 though. At number 5 with 322. Limbo 74 at 4 with 323. Matt Pearcey, the former leader, on 329 points in third place. Clough Parkin has shot himself up to second place, and Chris Vincent still remains the overall leader, way in front on 372 points. The best pick of the players from last night was Lewis Reed, John Russell and Fraser Blake Tracy would have got you 9 points apiece, just proving that your hero does matter indeed. Right, I'm going to come to our guests first. It doesn't matter that you've not played podcast predictions. You'll pick it up very, very easily. All you've got to do is predict the next 2 games. So Katie, I'll start with you. Let's start with Barnsley. Are we going to win, lose, or draw?
I think it'll be a 2-1. I think we'll win 2-1. Yeah.
And if you were to pick a fantasy captain to help you score more points, just pick a random player.
Oh. I'm going to say Will Evans. I think he'll surprise us.
Emily, same to you for all things Barnsley. I think she's froze again. Nick, I'll come to you.
Every time someone disappears, my headphones decide to capitulate. So if she goes again, my headphones just go mental.
Okay.
I'm going to say 2-1 win and Louis Reed, please.
I'm going to go for a 2-0 win, and I'm going to go for Dave on Tuesday. And at Bradford away, I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw, and I'm going to go for John Russell in that one. Nick, what about Bradford?
0-0 Roberts, the goalkeeper one.
There we go. Easy as that. Emily, do you want to chuck some predictions our way for Barnsley and Bradford?
Yeah, I think 2-1 on Saturday as well, because we always win the Her Game 2 fixture. But as you remember last year, it was a squeaky win at the end. And I'm going for Dave as my, what do you call them?
Hero. Fantasy captain. One of the words.
Again.
One of those words will do. Right. It's as simple as that. And Katie, finish it off with a prediction for Barnsley, please. Not Barnsley. Who we got on Tuesday night? Bradford. Been a long day.
Ooh, I think we might get a 1-1. I'm not too sure, because the thing with Bradford is they're a bit hit and miss at the minute. So I think maybe 1-1.
Yeah, they certainly are.
Think Reedy for my hero.
And I think what makes it, what sort of stands out for me is that we've won a game now, so we're sort of on that little bit of a cusp and a curve. So it'll be interesting to see how things go off. Nick, I'm going to pre-warn you, your headphones are going to go dodgy in a second.
Well, they haven't done. They don't always. It's random.
I don't know what it is. I'm going to.
I think it's if they leave. Do you have to boot them out? I don't know. Sometimes they disappear of their own volition, or you. I don't know what happens, but I don't know. It does matter because when they reset, they don't work. I have to leave and come back, and it's just
technology. Well, you might have to do that in a second, which is,
I'm all right. I'm okay. I'm here.
There you go. Right, if you want to play along with podcast predictions, you can do so. Get ready, Nick. You can do so via the link that is in the description. A reminder that you must submit your guesses no later than 1 hour and 30 minutes. That's 90 whole minutes before kick-off on each game, and you can't pick the same player 2 games in a row. Right. What I will say is on Saturday, when everything was kicking off about Arsenal, we received a little bit of a compliment this podcast. I was talking to the guy who was producing the Sky Sports stuff, lining up Cam's little cameo, pun very much intended, for Sky Sports on Saturday morning. And he was saying how much he enjoyed the podcast because it sounded professional and like a proper radio show. And I thought, do you know what? I can't have that. I can't have people thinking that this is professional.
Which bit did he listen to?
I know.
Which bit did he listen to?
I can't have people thinking that this is, slick and, that this has got features which people love. So what I've done, and we also had a comment earlier on, by the way, from Marie, who asked whether our two guests tonight, Nick, were going to be treated to a game of What's in Craig's Shoe. Well,
I think they should have been.
Well, I
know they're
think
not.
Well, you say that now because they're not going to get treated to a game of What's in Craig's Shoe because they're going to get treated to a world exclusive, a brand new game that has never been played on Mansfield Matters before. And just to prove how lackluster this show is and how unprofessional it is, here's a jingle that I made 10 minutes before the show started.
Can you guess who I am? Can you guess who I am? Can you guess who I am? I play for Mansfield Town. Can you guess who I am? Can you guess who I am? Can you guess who I am? I play for Mansfield Town.
And that is why this podcast will never make it onto commercial radio or win any awards. This is called Can You Guess Who I Am? In similar vein to, what's funny, Katie? What's wrong? What's wrong with that?
It's
Oh,
Up there with one of the worst, that is.
it wasn't the jingle that made me laugh. It was just you saying you're not going to win anything, and I'm like, I love the.
For me, it was
It's
It's not got the production values of What's in Craig's Shoe, has it? It's just not got the production values.
What part of I chucked that together in 5 minutes before the show started did you not understand?
It's never stopped you before. That's usual. That's
We
long
did do a
for you,
live
isn't it? You're
jingle.
normally doing it as we log on.
That's true, actually. That's very, very true. Anyway, this is Can You Guess Who I Am? I have got a former player. I've got 5 clues to who that player is. All you've got to do is, guess who they are. The first clue will be quite hard and they'll get easier as the clues go on. If you get it after the first clue, you're going to get 5 points. After the second clue, it's 4 points and then 3 and so on and so on. Yes, it's a very much the same structure as Alan, Where's You Been? But hey, emulate, what is it they say? Like, emulation is the best form of flattery or something like that. You got to emulate the best. So this is how it's going to work. I'm going to give you the clue. You're all then going to have a guess. And after you've all had a guess, I'll tell you whether you're right or wrong. And if someone's right, we'll end the game. If you're wrong, we'll move on to the next clue. It's as simple as that. Do we all understand how Can You Guess Who I Am works?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a simple game, isn't it? It's a simple game.
Same as Alan's the other week.
Yes.
We're ready, I think. I think we're ready.
Yes,
We're all ready, yeah. I think the
Viewers are
jingle,
hot.
it just needs to come from the makers of Alan, Where's You Been? Because it's very similar. So people might, link the
Yeah.
two.
Yeah,
It is, isn't it?
exactly. It's the same production team,
Yeah, definitely is.
This is like, when the producers of like Broadchurch, when Broadchurch was a massive hit on ITV years and years ago, and then ITV voiceovers did, from the production team behind the ITV1 hit Broadchurch comes the brand new drama, Debbie's Shop. And it was just rubbish. But they had that link in there, didn't they? That's exactly what this is. Anyway, clue number 1. You're laughing now, you'll be laughing in a minute. Clue number 1 is this. I was born on the 15th of April, 1976. Can you guess who I am? Nick, who is that former Mansfield Town player?
Bloody hell. 1976. So they'd have been 30 into there. Les Robinson.
Emily, can you guess who that former Mansfield Town player is?
I can't think of anybody who'd be 50 now. No. Pass.
Katie, throw a random former Stag's name in there.
Is it Alan Marriott?
No one has got it right yet. For 4 points, here's your second clue. I came through the youth team at Stoke City in the mid-1990s. Nick, can you guess who I am?
Bloody hell. This is going to expose my terrible memory, isn't it? When it's someone blindingly obvious that the people shouting at the screen for. Stoke City in the 90s. Knowing you, it's going to be somebody random, isn't it? Martin Pemberton.
Emily.
I can't think of anybody. Literally, I can't think of anybody.
Katie.
I was born mid-90s. This is not helpful.
Well, let's try.
I think no one got it. I assume that wasn't right. Was
No,
it?
no one got it. No.
No.
Let's see if we get it on clue number 3, shall we? With 3 points. I played for the Stags in League One, League Two, and in the Conference across 2 spells. I've played for the Stags in League One, League Two, and in the Conference across 2 spells. And a reminder that the other 2 clues were I came through the youth team at Stoke City in the mid-90s, and I was born on the 15th of April, 1976. Nick.
I hate it when you put me under pressure. In 2 spells. It can't be Adam Murray because that's too far back. Trying to remember players who played in the Conference and when we were in that god awful League One team that we had. I'm going through the team in my head. It's not Pilko because no, it's not him. Jesus Christ. I honestly, at the minute, I can't even. I've got nothing.
Just throw a name out there. So what you've got to do.
Right. Let's have a think. I'm going to go Adam Murray. It's not right, but
Emily.
I just literally can't think of anybody. And I think somebody's put Greenacre in the chat, but I think he's too young.
Katie.
Simon Brown.
Okay, well, no one's got it right yet.
What a player.
2 points.
No one's going to get it right, Craig. Have you not worked this out yet?
Well, for 2 points. Outside of football, I also made 6 appearances on Channel 4's Countdown. I was the first professional footballer to ever do this. Outside of football, I made 6 appearances on Channel 4's Countdown. I was the first ex-professional footballer to do this. Nick.
This is bizarre. I mean, it is a conundrum, isn't it?
It is.
There's a countdown. I
mean, I can give. Would you like some countdown letters to help you?
Well, yeah, it would help. I mean, I've got a couple in my head, but I'm trying to age. It's normally throwing me off.
I'll give you a K, a Z, and an E.
I think I know. I should have known. It's the Craig Priest podcast, isn't it? Is it, without revealing the answer, is it somebody whose shirt you herald as you want above all others and that you may have had one and then lost it?
Are you going to have a guess at who it is, Nick?
Yeah, is it NMC? The man.
You can say his name. You can say his name.
It's Neil Mackenzie, isn't it? I should have known.
Emily?
Who's you?
As soon as you said the letters, I was like, yeah, it's Neil Mackenzie because you showed me your Macca shirt, didn't you?
Katie, do you want to have a guess? It might not be Neil Mackenzie. You could steal it.
I'm just going to steal.
Well, I can tell you with 2 points apiece, it was indeed Neil Mackenzie. There is
I knew it.
The last clue, by the way, Nick, you were absolutely spot on. The last clue was, I am Craig's all-time hero. So there you go.
I would have got it.
That was a success. That was I'm going to say, a successful game for the one and only time of.
Who I am? Can you guess who I am? Can you guess who I am? I play for Mansfield Town. Can you guess who I am? Can you guess who I am? Can you guess who I am? I play for Mansfield Town.
And judging by the last 5 minutes of the podcast, the answer to that question is no. Right, let's move on, shall we? And round all things up. Bring that game back. The production values are there. It's better.
Could we possibly get, as an all-time special in the scene, Neil Mackenzie in your shoe? Because that would be the perfect. You could combine your two favorite things: terrible game shows and Neil Mackenzie. And as the camera pans up at the end of the reveal,
it's just.
Hello, it's Neil Mackenzie.
Well, so he's just sat there.
Your shoe.
He's got Neil Mackenzie. You've got Neil Mackenzie sat in my shoe for 90 minutes, for an hour and 15 minutes of the podcast. With no reference whatsoever, like the time Alan dressed as Santa. Spoiler alert, we didn't reference it, whatever.
Correct.
Is that what you want?
Yeah,
If
or he
that's
could,
what the
or he could
people
film
want.
the shoe in his own time, and you could just pan the camera up slowly. So slowly throughout the game, throughout the podcast, the camera slowly pans up. Like I mean, like really slowly, like once every a millimeter a minute, and it slowly works. I mean, hopefully it's closed. It works its way. It's not that game show Channel 4. It works its way up, and eventually at the end of it, it's his head. But you have to guess it and whoever guesses it the furthest up his body wins a prize. I don't know.
Oh wow!
Would that work?
I mean,
Oh, that's really tickled me.
listen, if we did that, Nick, then I don't think we're ever going to get any producers from Sky Sports, talkSPORT, or whoever saying that this is a professional podcast, are we?
No.
So there we go.
No.
It's good.
Sorry
It's
about
a
that.
good job, Jim's
Really?
Dave.
This is why we do these ideas in the car,
I
isn't it?
know.
On the way back from away days.
Exactly.
Because we've had
It's
some crackers that never made it to air.
I know. It's a good job that Jim's not here. He'd be banging on about Love Island by now as well, wouldn't he? And in answer to your question, Emily, I would absolutely love Neil Mackenzie to be on this podcast. I am determined to make it happen in one day.
For you.
But from purely self-interest, I don't want it to be over a computer screen. If we're gonna get the legend on, I've got to meet him in person. It's got to be, and he lives in Birmingham way, and I can't always do that.
He does message back when I messaged him about shit.
I know.
He messaged me back.
I know.
So get
He's a
him
top
on.
man. He's a top man. Maybe in the summer, Mansfield Matters road trip. We'll
He does a lot of
make it
running,
happen.
doesn't he? So we could do a sponsored Neil Mackenzie. Try and keep up with. Can 5 unfit men keep up with Neil Mackenzie? And we'll give it a go.
What can he run from Birmingham
Give
to
it a go, don't we?
Mansfield on a Thursday night?
Just to sit in my spare chair for
Sponsored run.
75 minutes of the show, just to make a cameo and just pop his head in.
Oh God, that's
Oh, look,
so
it's Neil Mackenzie. Anyway, moving on.
Neil Mackenzie's joined us. Moving on.
No,
Oh,
but I
dear,
have
oh
to
dear.
say, Craig, on Saturday I heard you on talkSPORT because we were in the car and we just parked up when they mentioned I'd text them and they mentioned our text. And so they
Yes,
mentioned
they did,
Neil
yeah.
Owen. And then you came on. And you
Yes.
were so professional. I'm sorry, but you were really professional. You sounded really good.
I don't know whether that's an insult or a compliment. I don't know whether you're saying you sounded so
you
professional because you
just
don't
said you-
usually, but
No, you've just said you don't want to sound professional. I'm like, well, sorry, but you did.
we can't have people thinking that this is good.
No, we mustn't have that.
I think
That's the last thing we want.
want. With that last game, it's fine. Don't worry. You've done the job.
Ebbs and flows.
Who is the second voice on that little video? Is it just you with a squeaky voice, or did you get somebody to help you?
I don't know what you're talking about.
That's
No,
my favourite of
no.
all the voices. It's my favourite.
I genuinely don't know what you're talking about. There's no effects happening there whatsoever.
Is that the button that Alan accidentally pressed 2 games ago? When he was mid announcement.
Oh, bless him. Oh, the producer in my head is screaming, "Get this back on track and end this."
Well,
end this
John
but I
Clark
almost
has asked the
don't want
question
to.
that we're all asking. John Clark on YouTube has asked the question we're all thinking: are you actually live now? Yes.
Yes.
we are.
Yes,
This
we
is
are.
content.
Yes,
This is part of the
is-
show, John.
Yeah, I mean, don't make
We
me
are.
find the shoe. Nobody
the
wants that.
outtake.
Don't make me find the shoe, John. No one needs that.
Oh,
Right. And breathe.
Katie, I'll come to you. Saturday's a big opportunity, obviously, to get another win. And we've got to look to really kick on, haven't we?
Can you put that effect on our voices as well, just out of interest?
Sadly not.
Ah,
Oh my God. Katie,
When you're here, I can. When we do it in
okay.
person, I can put that
Next
effect
time.
on. But yeah.
yeah, we need to win on Saturday.
we've lost them.
We've done it, Nick. We've done it. This is it. We've broken.
Never happens to Clive, does it?
Reasonable.
We've lost Alan a few times. We've lost Alan. a
When
few
she
times.
put,
He's
it's
gone.
not naked
That's it.
attraction, Nick.
Imagine if Alan was
But
like
yeah, I
that.
think
It
a
would be
win on
chaos.
Saturday. A win on Saturday is definitely what we need. It gets us those points. It gets us further away from relegation, and that's what we need at this point in the season.
Yeah, it certainly does. Nick, we've got to focus. We're going to be without John Russell, of course, who's on loan from Barnsley, which I forgot actually. When I was on a Barnsley podcast the other day, and forgot that he was on loan. I thought that we brought him and then was reminded that he can't play. So we're going to be without him, but it's an opportunity for others to step in.
Yeah, I don't know whether Hendry will be in that midfield with Reed and your man Abbott. But yeah, we have got play there. It's just been a bit disappointing that Lewis has been a bit lightweight when he's played in there. Russell's gave us a bit of height, I think, which has been a big advantage the last few games. While we've had to go long at times, he's been good on the ball. Although he is extremely slow, he's very, very good on the ball and somehow is nimble on a quick turn, but then his pace after that disappears. But he's been quite a calm influence in that midfield, actually, I think, and he's allowed Reed and Abbott to go and do other things. So we will miss him a little bit, I think. But yeah, it'll be a chance for other players to, play, and I think Nigel will say, look, go and grab the shirt. You don't get that many chances in a team that's playing well to get back in the team. So I think a few players will, especially the likes of Aaron Lewis, probably want to put on a good show and keep their place.
And of course, for you guys, Emily, on Saturday is the Her Game 2 dedicated fixture. Just give everyone a final reminder, for the two people that are left after the brilliance of the game that we've just played, that are still listening. Give people a reminder of what's happening on Saturday.
As it's the Her Game 2 dedicated fixture.
I don't know what you're laughing at.
Absolute.
It's just, I don't know what you're laughing at.
Stop doing
We've never had
this.
the full repertoire before.
So on Saturday, we want you to buy raffle tickets and have your photo taken in the selfie frame, and come and see us and come and talk to us and cheer on your all female mascot crew. Cheer them on. Yeah.
Yeah.
And some of the ladies
Come and
will be
speak to
there
us. Come
too.
and talk to us. Yeah. What did you say then? Sorry, Katie. Did you say
Some of the
something?
ladies' team will be there as well.
Yes. Yeah.
Make sure you go and get involved with that. And as I said earlier on as well, the link that you need for the Her Game 2 Facebook group, go and give it a join, go and have a chat and get involved with all that. It's in the description if you need it. Emily, that concludes your hat-trick on all things Mansfield Matters. And I know that you're itching to come back again and play another edition of What's in My Shoe or Alan, Where's You Been, or your new all-time favourite, Who Am I? Katie, this is your second appearance on Mansfield Matters. After such a tremendous feature at the end, we'll see you in another 5 years. Is that about right? It's going to take you 5 years to get over what's happened tonight, right?
Maybe.
I'm going to start
Some stage you never will.
instead of Vimto.
There you go. I've just...
Oh dear.
I just wonder what Dave will be thinking about, how he thinks about what's happening on the podcast and what his emotions are when we're doing all these, fantastic features. Dave, how are you feeling?
I'm pretty calm, to be fair.
Cheers, Dave. Right, that's all we've got time for on tonight's Mansfield Matters show. Make sure you go and check out all things Her Game 2 on Saturday. And...
Don't ask me what's in my shoe.
Sadly, that's all we've got time for on tonight's Mansfield Matters podcast. My thanks as ever to the Mansfield Matters podcast panel and our very special guests. Don't forget to get involved in the Her Game 2 dedicated fixture at home to Barnsley on Saturday. Go and say hello to all of the Her Game 2 crew. Get involved with everything that they've got going off, from raffles to selfie frames and much, much more in between. A reminder too, if you want to get involved with podcast predictions, the link that you need to do so is in the description. You must submit your guesses no later than 90 minutes before kick-off on your selected game. And you can't pick the same player twice. I don't know how many times I say it, and yet sometimes you still do. Right, we'll be back next Thursday at 7:30 p.m. for another live podcast as we reflect on all the Bs. That's Barnsley and Bradford, for those who don't know, and everything else in between. Have a fantastic rest of your week. Enjoy your weekend. Cheer on the Stags, and we'll see you next Thursday. Good night. Protect what matters most with Actifire Limited. Your trusted local fire safety experts in Nottinghamshire. Proud sponsors of the Mansfield Matters podcast. From fire extinguishers and alarms to emergency lighting, pat testing and risk assessments, they've got everything you need for your business to stay safe. Affordable, reliable, professional. Because when it comes to fire protection, there's no room for compromise. Call Actifire Limited today or visit actifire.co.uk. Be ready, be safe, act now. Actifire Limited, proud sponsors of the Mansfield Matters podcast.